The Modern Family. The Modern Family. Let us bridge the gap between generations. Let us shape up the modern family.
I remember when I first met you, I felt that God answered my call. There was that one place I always thought about, and I just wanted to be
In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth. And peace and blessings be upon our beloved messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear listeners, I salute you all with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your host Hatim al-Abd Salam, and joining me is
Wa'il al-Harrasi.
Thank you for tuning in to our program The Modern Family. Today we have an interesting topic again. Our topic today is punishment and reward. Effective discipline helps children learn to control their behavior so that they act according to their ideas of what is right and wrong, not because they fear punishment. For example, they are honest because they think it is wrong to be dishonest, not because they are afraid of getting caught. The purpose of punishment is to stop a child from doing what you don't want. Today, our honorable guest is Sayyida Basma Al-Saeed, who is a psychiatrist. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Did I get that wrong?
No, I am not a psychiatrist. Inshallah, maybe, I don't know. I'm a mental health counselor and psychotherapist.
Okay. Welcome to our show, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Today's topic is sensitive, and it's very important to parents. So inshallah, I hope our audience can contribute with us and share with their comments in today's show. The very first we would like to start is, when do we start rewarding or punishing our children?
Punishment and reward has been taken in lots of ideas from parents from a long time ago and now also. When we talk about punishment and reward, it kind of starts from a very, very early stage. Now when we talk about it, how strong is the punishment and reward? I think that is the difference, because when you have a toddler and then you have a child and then you have a young adult, it differs from every age what kind of punishment we use.
Okay. How important is punishment and reward? Is it important? I mean, some might say if a child is just stopping doing something naughty just because he will be punished, that is not part of raising a good citizen, because they should know not to do it for its own sake, not doing something because it's bad, not because they are being punished.
Yes.
What would you say about that?
I would say that punishment reward is something we experience even today. We're going to experience it all our life. We experience it in prayers, in fasting. This is also reward, right? I mean, if we fast, we get a reward in the end. So punishment reward is something very important to teach our children. But it's the strength of it, or the how strong are we using it, and I think that is the important part. So when you ask me, is it important to plant it in our children from a young age? Yes, it is. It's very important. Life doesn't just go on with no kind of rules. Life does have rules.
And that's if you look at the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, has made a reward for every good deed for us.
That's true.
Although we owe Him everything,
that is true.
Yet He made it for us that if we do something good, we are rewarded. If we do something bad, we are punished. So it is like a divine way of dealing with things.
And that keeps us going in the right path. You know, if you do something good, you get a reward. You know, if you do something bad, you get punished. And that's why we have heaven and hell. You know, what if you're not doing a good job, after you're going to go to hell. If you do a good job, you're going to heaven. So we're growing up in this kind of environment, and this is where it starts.
So it's like a motive.
That is true. It's a very strong motive.
And it's only, I think, until it becomes a habit, it takes a very long time. And that is not guaranteed. Is it guaranteed that if someone just does something good for a very long time, it becomes a habit? even if it becomes a habit, isn't there a tendency that one day they would want to break out of the routine?
It is a tendency. We live in an environment that could change our ideas. We live with other people around us. We don't live alone. A lot of things can affect us. A lot of parents tell me, but I raised him right and I raised my child right. Why did this happen? Your child is born with a part of his own personality, and you do your job. So there is a part that is him also, or her. So it does affect.
You know, the reason I'm talking about this, Hatem, is because I'm thinking of it in a much broader way.
Yes.
In many times when we talk about, we want stronger punishments, let's say when we request stronger punishments for people who violate traffic rules, and normally the counter argument would be is that no, we want it to be part of the culture, not because they are punished, they drive safely. We want them to drive safely, and we want it to come from within. But I don't think that is possible without having any sort of punishment or reward. And there was a study that was done in Ireland. There are traffic wardens everywhere, and people just are sick of them. They don't want anything to do with traffic wardens, because as soon as you park your car somewhere, they'll put a ticket.
Yes.
So the council in one of the towns in Ireland decided, okay, for 1 year we'll do an experiment. There'd be no traffic wardens, and you park your car anywhere you want. Midway into that project, people started getting fed up, because anyone would come and park in front of your house, in front of your entrance.
Yes. Total chaos.
Total chaos. And we are talking about a culture, a Western culture, which is very much disciplined, much more than the Eastern cultures. The discipline there is really immaculate. It's good. But yet, once you remove the punishment, people go back to their nature and do whatever they want.
And I think we go back to the idea of what I said, that we need punishment and reward to go in a straight line. We need that. I mean, as much as we say, no, we can do it, but we need some kind of guidance that makes us want to do things. The problem is, when I think of it, even when you're saying punishment, it's punishment. It's the word. The word is very, in Arabic, iqab. I don't know, it's a normal word. Words are just words, letters, but the strength that we use, punishment and reward. Look how reward sounds so soft, but punishment. So the word itself does fear.
Yeah.
So even when we were talking earlier on, we were saying, punishment, reward, I thought, oh my God, this word is actually, even though I'm not talking about punishment, the severe one, in my head it always goes into the lighter, probably punishment, but the strength of the word makes it already a fear.
A fear.
And I'm thinking, why am I feeling that way? It's because I grew up in an environment where if you do something wrong, punishment. If you do something right, so it also is us. What did we grow in? What kind of environment were we in? How much does this affect us? So the word itself is doing an effect now.
Yeah. Is it important to educate our kids that why we should have these rules and regulations, and why do we go to the extent of punishment? Is it important for them to understand?
Definitely.
Or is it from an early age they find these rules and regulations already implemented and they just have to follow?
Definitely we have to explain to them, even if they're really young. Because, sometimes we do things with kids, like we tell them, don't do that, like little kids, baby. Don't do that. The kid freezes and learns, oh, okay, that's wrong. But why is it wrong? The kid doesn't know. For example, this is a very light example. If a kid sees a cockroach on the floor, a toddler, he has no idea. A toddler's like, oh, this looks like
that's
a burger meal for him. Yeah, it's a burger. And he goes, and a mother comes in. What does a mother do?
She panics and she shouts and...
that kind of, what does that register at the child? It's like a computer. Yeah. Oh, wrong. Send to trash. Now do, that's how he grows up.
Yeah.
We are teaching him. So we have to explain. And a lot of us don't explain. Sometimes we forget to explain because maybe nobody explained it to us. We just, wrong. Your dad says wrong, it's wrong. Your mom says, don't naqash, don't, I said it's wrong, that's it.
Yeah, but that's what mothers do. I mean, if I saw my child going towards a
I've seen some men, believe me, that do not like cockroaches.
Yeah, go kill it, boy. Tap on it.
Natural. So we are definitely teaching them. So we are their first teachers. We have to be really good teachers, but we have to have been taught to be able to teach. Now, the difference between us as a modern family is maybe we are basically struggling between modern, theories and modern things, and we don't want to do what happened in the past, that. But at the same time, there is some stuff that were done in the past that made us
we need to
what
carry
we are
forward
today.
Within our lives.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, that's an interesting thing to say.
So if,
because
if punishment motivates adults, and without it, adults would go back to all the bad habits, then the effect is even much stronger with children, because adults are more conscious. But yet that conscious did not stop them from doing something bad. So
and that's why the law goes in for adults,
yes.
right? Because we're adults, we have a brain. But when it's for children, it's taken a bit lighter because they're children. So here you have the difference also. As we grow up, we are still going through reward and punishment. We reward if we do a good job at work, reward if we're a good wife, a good husband, a good daughter or sister, brother. It's the same thing. But punishment also is stronger as you grow up, because you should know by now what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's why it becomes very severe.
If we start with toddlers, how do we introduce the system of punishment and reward to them, as they haven't started their verbal communication skills, and maybe they're not aware of things around them, they're still exploring, curiosity is pumping up. How do we introduce this to them in the right way?
Very interesting, because toddlers are very clever. Very clever. I actually saw a video before yesterday. I should show you the video. It's how toddlers jump out of their cribs. Probably you've seen your child suddenly on the floor. You don't understand how it happened.
Yeah.
They are very clever. When you see this video, you will get amazed. It's like Mission Impossible, jumping and helping your brother. So as much as we think they're kids, they understand. But again, we use a different kind of approach. Now, if they don't talk, they know when you're angry. They can read your facial expressions, which is very interesting, They understand. And you can use lighter, obviously, ways. Now, as they grow up, you can always use the thing of, the naughty corner, or even some parents like, naughty corner, that never happened, this is all Western ideas, and that. We do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. We do it 10 times, then we give up. It has to be consistent with toddlers. Yeah. This is them learning. Obviously, I don't want to be put in a corner, even as an adult, or on a chair, or chill-out chair, or whatever they call it.
For half an hour.
But if you put me there for how many times, obviously I will automatically, in the end, just go there. So we need to teach them, yes, from a very early age, but very light and not very severe. Some parents are too aggressive because they are frustrated. It's not even about the child anymore.
It's about revenge.
Exactly, revenge is a strong. But it's like we feel we are not good. We didn't do a good job, and now look what happened.
Now, for kids, being active or being naughty is part of their nature.
True.
That's how Almighty Allah created them, and we should not throw the blame on them. Now, for working parents who are very extremely busy during the day, they come back from work, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're frustrated, and they have like 4 kids, and it's chaos at home, and they throw their anger on their kids. How can these parents regulate this anger so that it doesn't affect those kids in the future?
Yeah. First of all, the parents have to notice it's their anger, as you said. They are tired. They are upset. It is not only the child, okay? Sometimes the children are not even doing mayhem. They're not even like going, but they're just a little bit noisy. But for you, the voice becomes louder in your head because you're tired. Okay, so you come back from work and you see the scene of people going wild at home, okay?
They've had enough sugar.
Yes, they're gone like wild. Obviously, the automatic thing, because I'm frustrated and tired, the quickest thing would be like putting them somewhere, or be quiet or scream. For me, that is a good thing, because it's quicker. I still have to go and put the child in a naughty corner, or I'm going to say psychiatrist. This mental health counselor told us, put the child in the corner. What is this? It's not going to work. I'm angry right now.
I'm tired. I don't have time for this.
First of all, I would, if you're a couple, if you're very tired, I think don't deal with it at that time, because whatever you do at that time, it will come out of anger. Try your best to just calm down, go to your room, change, and then come out. Don't deal with it at the time, because if you deal with it at the time, you will definitely do something you don't want to do. That is the first step, I would say. This is if it's really, obviously if they're breaking something or want to light up the house, just react quicker, faster. But I think you need to first go, calm down a little bit, then deal. Don't deal at the time. Even if you're very angry, with anyone, or you don't deal at the time. Just go, calm down a bit, then come back. You know how they say, when you're angry, you have to change the way you're sitting, or you have to, all these. This is really, really true. I truly believe in it. Because the more you deal with the situation at the time of anger, the more severe your actions will be. So that would be the first thing I would say that you should do.
I can certainly relate to that. There are numerous times, and it's probably the majority of the times when I come back home exhausted and tired. And I come back to 4 energetic boys, alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
And majority of the times I wouldn't be able to handle it. But sometimes when I'm too tired to even react,
yes,
it just led me to do something else, which sometimes I do. I go to bed and say, okay, each one of you will have something to do. You massage my feet, you massage my head, and I give them some.
You have a spa at home, huh?
What I'm trying to get to is that I
get them busy doing something else.
Give them busy, do something else.
Yeah.
And this single remedy works wonders with a lot of things. And we have already mentioned this in several episodes in the Modern Family Show.
Yeah.
It's actually a solution for quite a lot of things. Keep them busy. You need to fill their time.
Yeah.
So this is one thing that I do.
It's true.
Well, sometimes they just massage my head once like this for 30 seconds and off they go and then noisy again.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything.
But it's better than the other effect. I mean,
yes.
A lot of parents are probably hearing us now thinking, I don't have time for all of this stuff. But it's better to calm down first, then deal. And then tell them why. Even if you got angry, tell them why you got angry. And then put them in your place. Tell them, what if you were in my place? How would you feel? We feel this way. Now, these are for children who obviously understand and all of that. If you come back and a toddler is doing that, it'll be different. But the toddler was with someone, obviously, before, you came back. Give them a little bit more. Go and, just calm down and come back. Don't go and lock yourself in the room and say, I don't want to deal with it all day.
Our guest yesterday was saying something very important. We were discussing that when they come back from work and they don't get the attention from their children, let's say they're focusing on TV.
Yes.
And he said that what he does, that he goes and hugs them.
Yes.
And that,
calm you down as well.
Yeah, solves everything.
That is true.
And I think we can use the same technique.
Yep.
But you have to hug 4.
I worry you come back very angry, you hug them too much. But it's actually a way to zone out. Emotional affection, emotional touch is always a way to melt anything.
A friend told me something very interesting. She said that at the end of the day, each day, she thinks within herself, what if I have surveillance cameras in my house and it records every single movement that I do with my kids when I come back from work, when I'm angry. If I go back and watch that video, would I like what I see?
Most likely she won't like what she sees.
Yeah, and this forced her to change into a better person, into understanding her kids better.
Monitoring herself. And you monitor yourself.
It's easier it's very easy to monitor yourself, even without having the cameras.
Your couple can monitor.
Yes, you're a couple, so a husband should monitor his wife, the wife should monitor her husband, and they should give each other feedback. And of course, they need to agree first on how to raise their children first, to have common grounds.
Yes, what Dr. Wael is saying is definitely you need a plan. You need teamwork. You don't like the mother. Kids do this. They're very clever. They will come to the mother and they will ask for something. The mother will say no. They will go to the father and they'll ask the father. The father doesn't know what happened there. They don't have like signs from far away. Beware of the child. So he will say this. He say, okay. And then the mother's like, I just told her no, And I'm saying this honestly from experience. It happens to me with my kids. My daughter's very clever. She always plays this game.
This role.
So we have decided that, before you say anything, just make sure what was the plan. Stick to the plan.
Yeah. Did you ask your mother?
Yeah, because this is how they will grow up. They will go on doing this.
And yesterday we said, remember, that the couple has to be on the same page.
Definitely.
Yeah, because if you're raising your kids in one way and your husband is raising it in a different way, then the kids will be very confused.
Yeah, having a family is having a little country, little. So if people are not getting along, you know, the heads are not getting along, what will happen in the mayhem?
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly. So they need to know, they need to have a plan. They need to go on with the plan. And when they discuss that your plan was not good or what you did was, it shouldn't be in front of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some couples have differences and they have argument between, is there a difference between punishment and discipline?
Mm-hmm.
Because like fathers think that no, this is part of discipline, and the mother thinks no, you're punishing them, you're not disciplining them.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a distinction between the two?
It's a very, very thin line. You know, discipline, I always feel when you say when I hear the word discipline as well, it's like, you know, usually we use that for when we want to discipline or whatever, if you have an animal or something at home. The word discipline is a bit strong. Yes, we do use it for our kids, but it is a strong word, as is punishment. Both are very strong words, and both people, a lot of people say there's a big difference between them. I think the difference is very slim, honestly, and maybe even kind of zero difference, because in the end it's the same.
I always thought discipline would include both punishment and reward, because it is part of disciplining the children and correcting behavior via punishment and reward.
Yeah. So if you do a good thing, you get a reward.
A reward, which is part of disciplining the child. I just would like to remind our dear listeners here that you can call us today on 24602058. The topic today is about punishment and reward. Any questions, any comments, any experience you would like to share with the nation today, you can share in the Modern Family Show on 24602058. I would like to ask a question, going back to what Hatima said about overactive children.
Yes.
And probably noisy or naughty children. I might punish a child if I see 2 or 3 different behaviors that are not correct. But what if a child exhibits a large number of negative behaviors, bad behavior? Shall I punish the child according to the number of things he did? It would be excessive. I mean, the child might live in a life full of just punishments.
You're grounded for life.
Yes. Where do we draw the line? Excessive punishment, as you said, sometimes we just beat them and they become immune.
Yes,
they might become immune to punishment. So where do we draw the line?
You know, when you tell me, and also going back to what Hatem said, active children, a lot of people will come to me and say, there's something wrong with my child, he is ADHD. He's hyperactive. And I will sit with the child and the parents and I'll say, actually, he's not ADHD, he's just naughty. You know, he's just the child. Now, that's one case. The case, if we took a case, what you're talking about, this child has done so many stuff. Why is this child doing so many stuff? Does he want someone to see, you know...
to get his attention?
To get his attention? Why would he do so many wrong stuff? Is something going on wrong in his life? Is somebody hurting him? And he can't let it out? Is something not right at home and he's reacting to it? When you see a child doing a lot of naughty stuff, just going, there is something wrong. This is where you actually have to sit down with yourself and think, what is going on? If a child does 1, 2, 3 kind of stuff, that's normal, that's healthy. When a child is doing nothing at all, not even one naughty thing, there's also a question mark, because the norm is a child can be naughty. If a child's very quiet, what's going on?
Yeah.
So really, you as a parent, you have a big job. You know, that itself is watching a child. Some people go to extreme and watch them too much and become too anxious as a parent also. Oh, today he didn't laugh. Oh, today he didn't turn left, he turned right. So again, you know,
obsessiveness.
Yeah, so you have to really monitor in a good way and in a balanced way, and it depends also on how you were when you grew up and what you saw and what you went through.
I just wanted to share a story or an incident that happened, that a couple had 2 boys at the age of 7 and 9, and they always complained that the boys, whenever there's guests in the house, they'd go chaotic and they would fight and be very violent. So the father invited a counselor to come in and see what's going on, what's the problem. And the counselor went into the house and found that there's a basement in the house where it's the play area for the children. It's equipped with the latest toys. And they set their cameras to watch what is going on. And they invited some guests. And the two boys were kept in the basement to play during the evening. And then at the end of the evening, the counselor came with a video, and it shows that the father, when the boys got very violent and fighting, the father came in and he started hitting them and put them apart. And then he said, honestly, I did not find anything wrong at that point of time. But what I found, I noticed that the boys had a funny smile on their face when you were hitting them. They just wanted your attention.
Yes. That is
So they did it intentionally so that the father can come down and,
and
they get his attention.
and they got immune from the hitting.
Yeah.
The hitting wasn't important.
And they had this smile, this funny smile on their face. That,
Sounds a bit
okay, we
like-
got it. We got him.
like those horror movies, the way he told a little smile.
Adam's Family.
Yeah, something like that. But yes, it's attention. A lot of parents will say, I don't know why he's like this in school. At home, he's really quiet. Or the other way around. I don't know why they complain about him at school. At home he's different. So, yes, your child wants attention. Yes, there's something going wrong. Just check. It doesn't mean when I say something is going on, there's something really severe.
No.
There's just something. Attention.
I just wanted to ask you,
Yes.
is it normal to have a stubborn kid?
Is it normal to have a stubborn kid?
Because some kids are extremely stubborn. No matter what you do, it just doesn't work for them.
challenge
Yeah,
you.
they challenge you.
They challenge
Yeah, they
you.
challenge you.
Kids will always challenge you. And it could be a 0 challenge to 10. They're like this. They will experiment with you. Even when they're babies or toddlers, they know what will bother you and what will not bother you. Now, a lot of children are stubborn, and you hear this a lot. You're such a stubborn child. It's very interesting. I've noticed a lot of couples that have come to me and told me their child is stubborn, that one of them is very stubborn. And it's very interesting. So I'm still to see, is this something that goes through genetic, but a norm would be a bit stubborn. Now, to what extent? Because some children are too stubborn that they spoil it for themselves. And again, we go back. Why are they that stubborn? What's going on? There's always something. What's going on? Because some children are so stubborn that even the things that they can't succeed in, they won't, because they're just stubborn.
Yeah.
So it's something to look through as well.
It is very important to monitor children and try and research their behavior and monitor every single thing, even before, I think, going out and seeking help, because it could be right there in front of you.
That's true.
And you need to monitor them constantly. My second child was very quiet. He is very obedient, to the extent that got me worried. Why? Because I thought maybe it's out of fear. And I never wanted my children to fear me.
Yes.
I wanted them to look at me as a friend, as their elder brother and as a friend. So it really hit me, and started thinking, because the same boy had problems with speech when he was young, and he was stuttering, and we went through therapy, and alhamdulillah, he recovered very well.
Inshallah.
So until I went to school and his teacher started complaining about him being very active, I said, listen, alhamdulillah, I'm very happy.
It's okay.
You might not know the reasons, but I'm happy. And I went to him, and I started monitoring his activities at home as well, and he became more active and a little bit more naughty. But to me, that's better
was
than
normal,
being quiet.
But something very interesting, which you said, and which I wanted to talk about, fear.
Yeah.
Fear is the biggest damage that could happen to a child from punishment. And again, we're talking about what kind of punishment. Fear could make a child just do things because he's scared, and outside do different really bad things, for example.
Yeah.
Fear makes them hide stuff. And the thing is, what you said was really good. I'm really happy you're sharing experiences, because yes, at this age we are parents who want to be modern parents, who, yes, we want to be their friends, and we don't want to, feel fear. What you said, which is true, but sometimes we need to just put that push of, in the end, I am your dad.
Yeah.
You know, but yes, we want that friendship. So we're really, I feel sorry for us sometimes because we're stuck. Us as in all of us. Because we are in, yes, we want to do, you know, what all these books say and all these, you know,
theories.
But at the same time, this is not working.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
at the same time, we don't want to do the old style because no, that wasn't a good experience, you know. So we really have to balance in the end. What are we doing? What do we want? I mean, I see a lot of parents these days, they don't have that thing about 8:30 or, I don't know, 7:30 or whatever is bedtime, you know, dinner is at 6 or whatever, at 7. They don't have that kind of discipline, as you said, you know, we don't, and that is actually good, in a way.
I think we'll take a short break now, and we'll continue after the break.
The Modern Family.
That's strange, isn't it? You can see that. And you're so smart, you're such a big scientist, but you can't figure out that this is a creation. Why? Well, because if it is, then there's a creator, and you don't want to know about that. That's the real problem, isn't it? Is that the problem? You don't want to know. So, you the scientist, you're supposed to bring me the evidence, testable evidence. Can I see any kind of evidence for what your argument is? Anything. Just show me something. They said, well, a human being looks like a monkey. Well, hold on. I too have a brother-in-law, and he does look like a monkey. You're right. But that doesn't mean that human beings came out of monkeys. And even if they did, that doesn't prove your theory that there's no God. Where'd the monkey come from? And excuse me, I don't like to hurt your philosophy, but if it's evolved, something is here, it becomes better. So it's not this thing anymore, is it? It becomes that, yes or no? And then that becomes the next thing and the next thing. And according to the pictures they show you in the books written by atheists, it shows you that there's this little creepy thing comes out of the water. And then the creepy thing becomes like a little small, I don't know what, and then it becomes like a marmoset. The marmoset becomes some kind of a little small monkey, a bigger monkey, then it becomes an ape of some kind, then it becomes a chimpanzee-looking thing, and then a gorilla, and then a man-looking thing, and then finally, there's Homo sapien, right? That's what they show, yes or no? Okay, even if we go with this theory, humans came from monkeys. Why are there still monkeys?
The Modern Family.
Welcome back. We'll continue with today's topic, punishment and reward. We have Mrs. Ibtisam Al-Busaidi, who is a psychologist online. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Mrs. Ibtisam, how are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you for joining us on the show. Today's topic is punishment and reward. We just wanted a few moments of your time, if you could comment on what is the healthiest way to punish our kids.
The first thing is I really don't like the word punish.
Okay.
I would rather say, how do we effectively discipline our children? Because punishment to me seems it doesn't have any long-term result, and it causes fear in the child, whether we use physical or verbal punishment, and we don't help the child develop either mentally, socially, or have a conscious of what is right or wrong. So rewards I kind of like, but as long as we don't overuse it excessively.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is where my thinking is, and these are my beliefs. We can help the child develop, they learn self-control, and I know we're talking something with very young children, but they can understand if you talk to them firmly, no, and be consistent as parents. But don't use physical or verbal and scare them, because the thing is, maybe in front of the parents or people with authority, the child might act the way you want
Yeah.
for fear of being punished. But once you are not there, the child still has not grasped what he really did wrong. So I think talking to children, explaining to them why this behavior and the consequences of the behavior, if it's bad behavior, so we encourage positive behavior and try to reduce and remove and make a change, behavioral change eventually. It takes time. It's a lot of work on parents, you know. When we punish, I think most of the time we punish as parents because we are frustrated and we are angry and we're stressed.
Yeah.
So we use punishment and we don't think about the child at that time just to get that out of our system.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ibtisam Busaidi, for sharing with us your thought. And we totally agree with you. And Mrs. Sayyida Basma Al-Saeed has emphasized also on that. And thank you very much again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope we get you on the show one day, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. It's a fantastic show.
Shukran.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Yes, back to our topic.
Yeah.
Now we can introduce the idea of reward. Reward is very, very important to our kids, and it might be a way that will help us avoid getting into punishment or discipline. Do you think so? Is this true?
It's true to an extent, but sometimes a child thinks they should never, ever do anything wrong. And when they do one thing wrong, for them it's like a very big stress factor. You probably notice some children are like that.
Yeah.
And if they do something, or the brother does something, okay, I'm going to bring this from my own kids, because I notice it with my daughter. If she does something, she says she hates being wrong. Like, I wish, like, she'll say, I'm sorry, mommy, she's only 5. Okay. But when her brother does something wrong, she'll say, look what my brother did, but I didn't do it. I didn't do anything naughty, right, mommy? He did it. So, again, I'm just thinking, I hope she understands that it's okay sometimes to do something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, you know, I'm worrying that even, is it like, she will, you know, if she does something, it will be really, really stressful for her. So, yes, reward is very important. And it's something we all need. We need it up to today as adults. We will need it, you know, up to today. You want to get rewarded.
Incentive. It's an incentive to do good.
And it makes you do good.
Yeah.
If there was nothing called reward and there was just discipline and punishment and discipline and punishment, it would definitely be a really tough and miserable, actually, life.
And everybody will go rebellion.
Exactly, definitely.
When it comes to reward, sometimes you can go to an excessive level of reward.
Yes.
Which tends to spoil our children, and sometimes the reward might not be enough or sufficient for the needs of that child. How do you make out what is good for your child?
There's rules for reward. Okay, first of all, the reward doesn't have to be excessive. It doesn't have to be something really big. Earlier on we talked about, you know, I'll give you a house if you're a good child. Obviously, that won't happen. I mean, I get a lot of parents saying, but I bought him a PlayStation, and I bought him a phone, and I bought him a... I'm like, that's too much.
Too much.
You know, even a little reward is effective with words. You know, some people just buy their kids stuff after, for example, they'll tell them off and they'll beat them, and then they won't say they're sorry, they went to that extent. They'll just bring them a present. As in that present is sorry. And then how does that child grow up thinking that, you know, I can be horrible, but I'll get something?
If you say sorry, it's not good enough.
Exactly.
You have to get me a diamond ring.
Exactly, you have to get me a ring. Exactly. So I think, again, it's very important to what extent are we going with this. Sometimes just, and promising. You know, like if I promise you, if you do this, I will give you this. And you give a time and a date and a day. That is the worst thing you can do if you're not going to go with it.
So when you want to give them a reward, you don't tell them about it in the beginning. You just let them be good, and then you surprise them with a reward.
Unless you are guaranteed and sure 100% you have that reward in your room, you know, and it's ready, then tell them. And you know for sure that you will give it to them tomorrow in the morning, then yes. But don't go, I will give you this tomorrow at 10, and then you don't have the reward, you are not even at home at 10.
Okay, we'll just take a call and continue. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Mamzar, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. How about your side, brother?
Alhamdulillah, how are you? Thank you for calling.
Today, as we are discussing about rewards and punishment, most of the time, since I got as an elder, I used to punish only when exams time, because as you know, that boys are always very naughty. He's just 8 years old. I used to tell him that you get me outstanding, I'll get you the rewards.
What sort of punishment you used to give them, brother?
Punishment in this sense, usually, not necessarily beating is always punishment. What I have observed, I used to just tell him that sometimes he used to demand, Papa, I want this. I said, no, forget it.
You deprive them from something they want.
I said, no, once you get me this result, I'll get you. That is my commitment. But he used to keep his commitment. Once he did, he used to come and stand in front of me. He used to tell that, Dad, I did it. I need my reward right now. Means again I used to commit by seeing his age. What we have to give. It is not necessary that whatever he demands, I used to not fulfill it. I used to tell, no, that is not your reward. I used to give what it fit to his age factor.
So your son used to dictate what reward he wants.
I want this gift, that gift. I said, no, you can't take that. You're still small. Still he demands for PSPs. I said, no, you're a very small boy for PSPs. You are not aged to take that one. Instead of that, some other toys, what will get benefit to him. That we used to motivate. And another thing, I just heard that when we are beating the kids,
yes.
But we heard, I don't know to what extent, right? The hadith is there that we should not slap on the face of the kid.
Yes, very true.
Even for the animals also, we are not supposed to slap.
Yes.
Because they'll get wild.
Yes.
So that's what I want to just tell that parents that we should not slap on the face.
Okay, brother, just listen to the response of Sayyida Basma and then we'll continue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's a good thing that he's not letting his son dictate what he wants, but as a child sometimes you wish for certain things. You know, if I'm a good child, can I get this and that? I mean, there's no fear in doing that, but obviously not demanding.
Should it be a negotiation?
It's good. A negotiation is good. At least, that person will work harder. But what I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if you guys remember a few months back, there was an incident where there was a little boy who, we're not sure about the story 100%. He ran away from home and we were all looking for him. We were worried about him, and the whole story boiled out to that he was worried he didn't bring good marks in school, and he was worried to come back home and his parents would be upset.
Yes.
This is a story from 101 stories. It is based on fear. We are going back to that fear. If this boy wasn't as scared, he would not go to the extent
of leaving home,
doing
running away.
all that story. I mean, it was a very big story at the time. And he's not the first child who's done this. We have children who feel they have stomach aches because they don't want to go to school, because they fear. We have children who pretend they faint because, again, fear. So I just wanted to say, don't push them too hard. They're doing their best. They will do their best. I mean, don't leave them as well, but don't push too hard that becomes their surviving tool. If you don't succeed academically, you're gone. I had a child, she was a teenager, actually a young adult, and she was not feeling okay. And she had this sense of pulling her hair from stress when studying. And I told her, we have to get that better so you can study better. And then she said, what's the use of me getting better? What's important for me is to get high marks to get a job.
Yeah.
This is becoming really bad because she's not even caring about her going through all that. She's just obsessing as getting a high mark and getting a job. And why do you think this, where does this come from?
From
comes
fear.
From fear and from parents.
There are a lot of things that we really need to cover on punishment, although we started talking about reward. But I feel there are very important aspects that we haven't probably mentioned in the first part of the program, which is, one, we need to emphasize to children that when we punish them, we shall use the right punishment. Avoid completely hitting, although we do it. But even worse than hitting, using words.
Yes.
Verbal abuse.
Being very verbal and very abusive to children, because that really sticks.
True.
And that causes a lot of complications in the future. The second point is...
Dr. Weil, before you get into that point, when you said verbal, people go to some extent when they say, I don't love you, or I love your brother more than you. This is also, it hurts even more than the physical punishment.
We shall not tell our children that our love is conditional, because it will be lying.
Yes, we might not be able to be.
Love should always be unconditional and shall not be related to or linked with behavior, because regardless of the behavior, I believe majority of us we do love our children. The other point I wanted to make is, when we use verbal punishment, or when we teach them, we need to emphasize that it is the behavior that we don't like.
Yes.
And it's not the child itself. Otherwise, you just break his self-esteem or her self-esteem completely when they realize that they are being criticized.
That's so
Criticize the behavior and not the child himself.
Some parents get into calling names.
Yes.
And this is even worse.
Yes, that is so true. And at a very early age.
Yes.
You know, you find a toddler saying a word like, you think, where did that toddler, even the parents tell you, oh, I don't know where he learned that word from. Where did he learn it from? It's either you or the TV or the maid. Basically, where did he learn it from? But yes, punishment has to be done in a very good way. I mean, if you use the word, for me, words are way more hurtful than even the physical. Words can stick to you until you grow up. Words can make your self-esteem low. Words will go on and on in your head. Words would hurt you if you were compared to your brother or your sister or your cousin.
Yeah.
Because then you will start...
The cousin is very, very common.
The cousin is very strong, Because you start thinking, oh, I hate her. You don't hate her, you're just pissed off. And parents use this, they think they're using it for a good way. Look at your cousin, or look at your brother. They think it's a way of making him, feel better. And that person thinks, why don't you love me for me? It can get to this extent. And we see a lot of people when they grow up, they think, yeah, my dad always used to compare me and I'm not good enough. And all their life, they end up trying to prove to their parents that they are good.
This is what parents are trying to do, is choose a role model for the child from his own peers.
Yes, that is true.
Is that wise? I mean, a role model for the children should be maybe someone who is older, or probably not directly related to the child. I think choosing a role model from the peers who are around is probably not a wise way. Is that what you're saying?
I think if you want to choose a role model, first of all, choose a role model that's already grown up. I mean, he's gone through childhood, because he's a role model, so we don't know if a peer of mine is going to be okay after he grows up. Yeah. But if you tell your child, look at so-and-so, look at them now. A lot of people talk about the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a role. See, it's different when I say that than when I say, look at your cousin. Unless that person really likes that older cousin. That's different. But most of the time, no, and it sticks to you. And obviously, as you said, it is difficult to do, because he's my peer. He's my equal. We're the same. Yeah. So why? I mean, somebody older, then they've gone through all of that, they've gone through all those phases, and now they're working or whatever they're doing.
Each one of us has their own capabilities. You cannot compare us in any way.
That is so true. And each one has something that shines within him that won't shine at the other.
The high expectations of parents sometimes lead to fear, as you said.
Yes.
And the most classical example is when you get the school report.
Oh yes.
If your son has like 9 A's and 1 B, you will only focus on the B. Why did you get a B? Why were you second in class?
Very interesting.
And you'll forget about the A's,
but
the 9 A's.
Around, if you get all D's and get 1 B,
that's a different story.
I've read a very good book called Whale Done.
Okay.
It's not well done. It's whale, as in the whale, the big
mammal.
animal. Yeah. Whale Done. It's a brilliant book. It's a very small book.
Okay.
And it focuses on the concept of that human being normally focus on negative behavior rather than positive behavior.
Yes.
Regardless of the number of positive behaviors, as soon as you do something wrong, it's always noticed and you get done for it.
Definitely, that is so true.
Yeah, and the book doesn't talk about raising children, rather than actually talks about in the work environment and how to be a good boss.
Yeah.
But the same concept can be used in
that is true.
At home.
That's a program you need to, positive and negative. It's very, very important.
We have a caller.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, fine. It's Najah.
Najah, how are you?
I'm okay.
Thank you for calling again.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to add one more point
Yeah.
in the punishment and reward.
Mm.
It's actually not just comparing between the peers and telling them that you should be like someone or you should be like your cousin. Sometimes we face problems in rewards when those peers are being rewarded more than we think they should. And we cannot, of course, interfere with other families. But you think that whatever I'm going to reward my son is enough. I don't have to give him more.
That is so true, Najah. Yeah, that is really, really right. That's why we don't do between peers.
Let's say, for example, if they get good results in the exam, they finish the year, and that other family, they would take their children for
a holiday.
For a holiday, buy them expensive things and gifts, and you don't think that it is really required. I mean, a small reward would make my son happy or my daughters happy or whatever. But then those children, they will have that in their heart, and they'll think, okay, why are we rewarded less than those people?
Yeah, Najah, I'm sure we have all gone through that through our childhood. Yes, we've seen our cousins get something or less. We've gone through that, and you are right. But as a child,
your children might have even higher results than those, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, but it depends on the household. Yeah, you have to explain to your children. Don't just tell them, no, that's it. They're different. We're different.
Sure they would understand, but still there'll be that gap of why they're getting this and I'm not getting it. Why I've worked harder and I got better results.
Yeah, but this is you now as a parent. You have to explain. That's all you can do, because not only now this is going to happen to your child. When he starts work, it probably will happen again, right? Maybe he'll work harder, and his colleague won't work harder, but the colleague will get more. Right? For example, so if you just get them to understand that, okay, you just have to be happy with what you have, and realize that, Mahman Khan, we love you, stuff like that, that will make them grow up as adults who are okay, they don't mind. But you notice, even in your colleagues, there's some colleagues who are very bitter about stuff. And even if you're okay with it, they'll come and tell you, why are you okay with it? You should be angry. You didn't get, they pump you. But if you're okay, you'll be like, it's okay. I don't mind. I'm doing it because I love my job, for example. So these things all start from a very young age. And yes, we are going to have all those temptations. Even as adults, we have temptations. I mean, if you see a friend buying something, you think, I wish I could have it too.
You would sit and think about it more. But as a child, you'd always compare yourself, whatever you have, with other people. And as well as the punishment. Sometimes you punish your child for something, not even if it's a simple thing, but you think, no, I should punish them and I should explain why he has done this.
Great.
And this was wrong.
I love how you said I should explain.
Maybe his cousins or whoever have done even worse, and they were not punished.
That's true.
Okay,
it's the same here again. You're punishing me for such a small thing, and my cousin has done that and that and that, and he was not punished.
I guess in the end, Najah, I'll tell you one thing to end the conversation. In the end, we were all not born as parents, right? We're all learning, right? And you said that we should explain, and that is the best thing to do. That's the only thing you can do, actually.
Shukran, Najah.
Thank you.
Shukran.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Another caller.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, fine. Actually, I just want to say Jazakallah khair, all of you. It's a very good program. Actually, I am very emotionally telling this Jazakallah khair because I am one of the father. I have 3-4 children.
MashaAllah.
But the children are calling me as a Hitler because always I'm hitting them. So I have mistakes, Because I try to control myself, but the children are. But after your discussion, as I am following always to you, and today whatever you all talked regarding this one beating and all, I promise I will try to control myself. No, because this beating is, I think, not a solution to make control.
Brother, can I ask you something?
Yeah, please.
Do you like being beaten?
Actually, I don't like.
How does it feel?
After beating, I am crying first.
No, let me ask you.
You believe me, I'm telling truth. After beating, I'm going to myself to hidden, like my bedroom or somewhere, and I will cry first. Why I beaten?
Yeah.
But the time when they are doing the mistake, because I am telling already, I told you not to like this.
You know,
you have done so like that.
You know why? Because when you beat them, that was for you. You know, that
exactly.
was for you. And then when you go to a lot of parents and then they feel bad for what they've done. It's good. At least you feel bad. That is a good sign, you know. But think about your life. Were you? Yeah.
Inshallah, in the Ramadan Kareem,
Inshallah.
I will try my best of level to control it.
Inshallah, next time you will not be called Hitler then. You'll be a peacemaker.
Thank you very much. And we are proud of you. And this is exactly why we have the show.
Yes.
This is exactly why we have the show. And we are happy now that at least the show is making positive change in society.
And we're all learning.
Yes.
We're all learning.
Yes.
We're not born as parents. We were learning from our past experience and from what we do now.
One more call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. This is Ahmed Jamil over here.
Ahmed Jamil, how are you? Fine?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, tell us.
I just wanted to... Sorry?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the lady caller who called, I think, I'm sorry if I take the name wrong, Najah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, about comparing a child's gifts and when children start comparing.
Yeah.
I think today one of the biggest issue that I faced during my childhood was creating the social pressure. When you start comparing your children's results with your cousins, then you obviously expect them to compare their rewards with their cousins.
Yes.
You're the one who initiated this comparing process. And, we think that this only stays till the childhood, and when they grow up, everything goes fine. No. Basically, result is the benchmark for evaluating how successful you are.
You're very right, brother. You're very right.
At the end, when you get your job, how much you're getting paid. Now, that's the benchmark you'll be comparing to.
Thank you very much, brother. And listen to the response from Sayyida Basma.
Okay,
thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
I think it's really nice how people are sharing their experience. They're actually learning from each other. And what he said does complement what we have been saying here. And also it will help out maybe in what Najah has been saying. In the end, comparing is difficult in anything. And as he said, comparing in reward also is comparing. I mean, if you're going to compare in punishment, then obviously the reward thing is going to be compared.
Thank you very much, Sayyida Basma Al Saeed, for being a wonderful guest today here. We have certainly learned a lot, and we have for the first time had a positive response from our listeners that they are going to make a positive change in their lives because of the show.
Especially Mr. Hitler.
Yes. So alhamdulillah. One final thing. We have mentioned very important role of not being verbal when we punish. It has a very strong effect. It also has a very strong effect when you say something as a reward. So what I say to my children, I'm very proud of you. And to them, that is the biggest reward they can ever get. Dear listeners, thank you very much for being good listeners. The thought of today is this. It is very much related to what we have said. We are always praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our children from evil and from bad companionship. But one thing that a lot of parents haven't noticed, we want to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our children from our own mistakes. Reflect on this. Pray to Allah to protect our children from our own mistakes. We'll see you on Saturday, inshallah, on a new show with a wonderful guest. No other than Mr. Tariq Hilal Al-Barwani himself, one of Oman's proudest young men. From me, Wa'il Al-Harrasi.
And Hatim Al-Absalam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
The Modern Family. Let us bridge the gap between generations. Let us shape up the modern family. The Modern Family. The Modern Family. Join the discussion and give us your feedback. Live with Hatim Al-Absalam and Dr. Wa'il Al-Harrasi. The Modern Family.
It's not a dream.